Web3 projects must deliver value beyond a foundation on the blockchain to ensure their life expectancy extends beyond the impending metaverse bubble burst. Web3 projects are the talk of the current digital scene, with thousands of new companies coming to life every day in an attempt to ride out this global wave with their own product releases. Unfortunately, reality has shown most of these offerings do not provide any tangible value to their players or user bases. Instead, they rely on superficial hype of cryptocurrencies, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and related buzzwords, a seemingly unnatural method to pursue user growth. At present, these efforts result in short-term successes and unsustainable growth. To ensure projects are built on foundations that enable long-term value, startups are encouraged to learn from the events leading to the dot-com bubble. In this example, the projects that survived the collapse were not dependent on industry hype. Instead, the projects that came out alive were the ones that took a product-focused approach to derive naturally growing value, whether through an enhanced experience, community development, or the creation of other player-generated stories. Leading this round of projects is Curated, a startup in the metaverse gaming market that is relying on the AAA concept to drive the project's value ahead of its basis on the blockchain. Targeted at being a global-scale multiplayer adventure, the game relies on blockchain technology to enable the natural extension of online video games, fusing the concepts of global player bases and endless streams of online content. Therefore, even with the bubble bursting, the project is set to have a quality MMO offering, which, as historical evidence states, will continue driving increased ownership in player bases. Consider that in the case of any popular online experience, there will always be a massive amount of users ready and willing to purchase the most exclusive in-game assets. The team behind Curated, led by Marcus Allison, is former developers of industry-leading AAA franchises. A decade's worth of experience in working on top-tier video games has armed the Curated team with invaluable experience on what makes up a proper AAA title. The market for massive online shooters with the highest fidelity, frantic and polished gameplay loop is not saturated in the Web 2 environment. That same market is practically non-existent in the progressing Web 3 landscape, and Curated is on a mission to fill that gap. Delivering a AAA experience. In doing a deeper dive on the product itself, Curated exists as a first- and third-person online shooting game, encompassing both a classic and multiplayer mode that players can access in 3 stages. The first is a polished AAA online game consisting of deathmatch and 5 versus 5 competitive mode. Not far behind is the second stage, which will introduce players to a battle royale modes, co-op experiences, and survival and challenge modes. These releases will culminate in a final stage delivering a complete metaverse experience. Operating with a product-first approach, Curated relies on several industry-changing tools, including Unreal Engine 5, composed of nanite technology, Quixel Megaskin real-time scanning abilities, and a dynamic lighting system of Lumen. Taken together, these features enable projects to deliver an elite level of detail, fidelity, and performance to players. However, these next-generation visuals are only the polish on the model itself. In design, Curated relies on a complex virtual world complete with several online modes, weapons, characters, missions, and vehicles to drive value. Any additional value will then be derived from the resulting community, as evidenced in project consistency and attachment to the experiences themselves. The intention is that the community grows to take on a family feel, later becoming a welcoming place to escape the trappings of the real world. Comparisons can be made to fan-favorite online games such as Overwatch and Dota, where a passive player base develops a taste and desire to purchase in-game items. In this case, price and demand are organic rather than being driven by outside manipulation or token hype. Under this model, Curated proposes that any online game can become more than a time killer if handled properly. Using its efforts as an example, Curated's team shows potential for the future of gameplay in its position as a protector of its participants, leaving all other decisions to the players. A product-first approach. With a strong foundation, as outlined above, Curated is well-positioned to provide one of the most open, secure, and player-empowering marketplaces in the industry. As part of the project's goals for the second quarter of 2022, the official roadmap indicates an NFT presale, an art promotional video, and the close of private financing rounds. These releases are said to lead up to an early access launch of the Cryptogen verse as a part of a more expansive, brave new metaworld.